Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Oren Ashton, and today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. Now, before I start with the topic, I apologize that I missed last week's video. I was extremely busy with a lot of flights. I had to go back to Florida and I had to come back to Pennsylvania. Lots of things going on, so my apologies. So for this week, I'm going to upload 2 videos to compensate for that, hopefully. So the topic at hand, Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency meaning a currency that only purely exists online. Now, what is the point of Bitcoin? The entire reason Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies were created was so that whenever you purchase something online, you would not have to face some middleman transaction fees. Like sometimes when you purchase something online or internationally, your bank may charge you a transaction fee and things of that nature. And in order to avoid these, that's the entire concept behind these alternative currencies. Now, another thing about alternative currencies is that since this is purely online, it does not have borders within countries. So for example, let's say, if you were to go from the United States to another country in Europe, and if you wanted to exchange your dollars for euros, you would have to go by the exchange rates that are provided over there. You might gain, you might lose money. Nobody really knows. Depends on the day's exchange rate and things of that nature. And most of the time, you will not get the exact same exchange rate either, because the dealers who give you who give you your euros for your dollar usually want to make a profit out of it, which is the entire reason they're there. And that's why you end up losing money while you're in a foreign country or things of that nature when you're trying to convert your money to their currency. And when it comes to cryptocurrencies, you don't have to worry about that, because regardless of where you are, a Bitcoin is still a Bitcoin, and you don't have to worry about converting it to, some other form of currency or anything like that. You could, if you're only purely buying everything online, Bitcoin should work just fine. And many places nowadays do accept Bitcoin from a day-to-day basis, even face-to-face. It's not just online, so that's also something that Bitcoin can be used for. Now, is it a good idea to invest in Bitcoin? Well, asking this question is kind of like asking, is it a good idea to invest in gold? The reason I say this is because the value of both gold and Bitcoin fluctuate very rapidly. Gold in recent years have not fluctuated that much, but Bitcoin has. But nonetheless, the value that each of them hold are only relative to each other. And that is why people think that it's risky to invest in Bitcoin. And I'm not disagreeing with that fact. There are risks to this, but there are risks to investing in absolutely almost anything. And stocks is something else that comes to my mind. You can't logically ask someone if it's a good idea to invest in a certain stock, because there is really no way to say at 100% that something is going to go up or something is going to go down. Somebody can give you a probability of it going up or going down, but nonetheless, you're still taking a chance. Now, Bitcoin, if you ask me, according to my opinion, I think is a good investment because of the fact that because technology is advancing so rapidly, the reason for state borders and countries' borders, they're fading day by day, and therefore the reason for, different currencies around the world and transaction fees, they're just making less and less sense. And cryptocurrencies, like it or not, are probably going to be the future of our spending and things of that nature. Because, in reality, it only makes more sense for you to carry cash that will never lose value, regardless of where you go, versus carrying a currency where you would have to pay a certain amount in order to get it, get it in the form of another currency in that particular region or country. And it does make more sense. However, again, it can lose value. That is true. Yesterday, it lost a lot of value, which is actually why I was inspired to make this video, because this was like the second crash that Bitcoin has had since the first one, like about a month ago. And when we say crash, we don't mean it's at a $0 value right now. It just means that it has lost a significant amount of money. So this week, the highest it got to was 17,000 something, and currently it's 13,000. Currently it is $13,000. $13,068. So that's what we mean when we say crash. It loses a lot of value. Not that it's actually absolutely liquidated at zero. That's not what it means. But again, Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies are not going anywhere anytime soon, and I don't see that happening because of the fact that, like I said, the significance of borders and currencies are, are making less sense day by day. And a purely online currency actually makes more sense nowadays. So even though there is a risk attached to it, cryptocurrencies are really not going anywhere. More and more people are investing, more and more people are mining for Bitcoin and these other cryptocurrencies, and as a result, the prices of these cryptocurrencies will keep on going up until it plateaus. Yes, it will plateau eventually, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. These crashes that you see, these happen with stocks almost every single day. If people freak out and then they end up selling all their Bitcoin the second, it goes down. But I don't think that's a very good idea because of the fact that this investment can only work if you're looking in the long term. Somebody who invested even $100 in 2015 is probably a millionaire right now because of investing in Bitcoin. It's been almost 3 years since 2015, and it's been 3 years since 2015, and you can see that in 3 years he or she has made this amount of money. It's only because of the fact that that person was willing to wait. The same thing goes with savings account, things of that nature. Now, again, like I said, there's no guarantee that Bitcoin is going to work or that it's going to keep on rising, but most economists agree that Bitcoin will at least get to $50,000 in value. And even though that is the prediction that economists have, of course, there is no 100% guarantee that it's going to happen. But when is the best time to invest in Bitcoin? That's also a very good question, and people need to understand this concept. Whenever you invest in a stock, you don't typically do it when it's at its highest value. If it's at its highest value, or if it's at a very high value relative to its value on other times of the day or other days of the week, then it's probably not a good idea for you to invest then, because most likely it's going to lose value. Stocks it's better to look at the mean for stocks and then invest in them when they're below their mean price. And then when they go up, you can sell them back and make a profit. And I think the same thing can apply to Bitcoin. Right now, it's only at 13,000. I know that might seem a lot to you guys, but that's the price of one Bitcoin, mind you. You don't have to buy one full Bitcoin every time you buy Bitcoin. You can buy portions of it. You can buy 0.5 Bitcoin, half a Bitcoin. So basically, you'll be paying, 6,500 or 6,600, something like that. Or you can even own 1/100th of a Bitcoin. So there are many ways in order for you to invest. It doesn't have to be one full Bitcoin. You don't have to spend a fortune on it. You can even invest $100 if you wanted to. You can invest $50 if you wanted to. Now, one app that I like to use is called Coinbase. I'm going to put a link to that below. It's only for Androids, and I'm sure you can find that on the App Store and iPhones as well. But that's the app that I use in order to see the fluctuations of these cryptocurrencies and invest. It's very user-friendly, and it's a very, very good first-time cryptocurrency investing tool. So if you are interested in that, I would highly recommend Coinbase. Now, right now it's only at 13,000, like I said, so it's lower than its mean for this week and for this entire year. So now is probably a good time for you to invest. So if you're thinking about it, then I would say just jump right in. And then if it does end up losing value, which I don't think it's going to, but if it does end up losing value in the long run, it will not really matter because you would still be able to use that cryptocurrency or Bitcoin to purchase other things. Even though, it might end up losing value, but it's a possibility. But most likely it's not going to lose value right now. You might double your cash in a single day. The unpredictability is really what hinders most people from investing in Bitcoin. And there is some merit to that logic, but nonetheless, I don't think that's the reason you should not be investing in something like this. It's good to if this is the first time you're investing in absolutely anything, I think it's a good investment, because Bitcoin, I mean, like I said, the significance of borders and currencies are decreasing every day, and therefore a universal currency like Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin, all these cryptocurrencies are eventually going to come into play. If it doesn't happen within the next 20 years, maybe the next 50 years, but it's going to happen eventually. And many stores nowadays do accept Bitcoin as a form of payment. So, you know, I mean, it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea to invest in it. So right now, if you want to invest, do it. Or if you want to wait till the next crash happens, you can do that as well. But there's no guarantee that the next crash is going to happen anytime soon. So it's probably a good idea for you to invest at least a little amount of money right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you're thinking of investing, and if you have any questions about Bitcoin or anything of that nature, just comment below and I will address them to the best of my abilities. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.